To protect their franchise quarterback, the Chargers are looking to a rookie sixth-round draft pick. A top USC basketball recruit had major heart failure, and Chicharito will return to the LA Galaxy next season. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. It is September 30th, 2022. It's Friday. It's the day I get paid, but I'm not with my wife, so I'm not going to get what rhymes with paid. Sucks for me. But we did add a new subscriber to the channel. Thanks for getting in on the ground floor. If you like the content that we put out about LA sports, make sure to click and clack the like button or click and clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yes, comment, because it gets lonely in these here hotel rooms. Now, before we get to the news and notes from around LA, quick look at the scoreboard. You know the Dodgers, their magic number to clinch home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs is 1. And that came courtesy of their 5-2 victory over San Diego last night. The Dodgers will have a chance to clinch home field advantage tonight. They're back at the Ravine. They're going to play the Colorado Rockies. That's Clayton Kershaw 10-3. Chad Kuhl is 6-10. And oh, by the way, Pac-12 after dark, baby. Friday night football. 15th ranked Washington will play UCLA at 7:30. There's a preview of that game on the UCLA playlist on this channel. Go check it out. So you remember all that talk throughout the course of the week about how Storm Norton was going to play left tackle for the Chargers? Nope. Guy lost the job on the right side. Now he lost the job on the left. Here's what happened on Sunday. He was a reserve right tackle after losing that job. He subs in for Rashawn Slater after Slater tore his biceps. And honestly, Brandon Staley did not like what he saw. Norton gave up 8 quarterback pressures in 25 pass plays. Now, he didn't give up a sack, but do you really want to risk Justin Herbert, who already has fractured rib cartilage, facing a hit on 1/3 of your pass plays? Of course not. But let's be real. Looking to a rookie 6th-round pick to be your left tackle? Well, that's exactly what Staley's going to go with. Jamari Salyer gets the nod versus the Texans this weekend. Now, Salyer's from Georgia. He was originally projected to play guard, but he played all across the line in college, all 5 positions. So at least he's going to have an idea of what to do at left tackle. And by the way, just so you know, tomorrow we will post a preview of the Chargers-Texans game. But definitely an interesting development there. 5-star freshman big man, Vince Iwochukwu. Sometimes the names, you know. Vince Iwochukwu was hospitalized in July. He had major heart failure. Now, he says he's being great and he feels amazing, still being monitored. They don't know if he's going to play for the Trojans. And I'm going to be honest with you. I hope he doesn't. Here's why. One night back before the newspaper industry imploded and I was left to work in healthcare, I was in the old Fabulous Forum. I was covering the Lakers versus the Timberwolves. We're press rows behind one of the hoops. We're watching the teams run up and down. And we get handed scraps of paper from the PR department. Over at Loyola Marymount, a few miles away, Hank Gathers died of cardiac arrest, it says. And the T-Wolves, they had this player, a guard, Pooh Richardson. You might remember him. He played at UCLA in college. Anyway, Pooh Richardson was Hank's friend from Philly. And that was truly a sad sight when the news broke to him at halftime. And very tough interviewing the guy after the game, I must say. It's not fun interviewing somebody when you find out a close friend dies. You'd rather give them their space, and I really wouldn't want to go through something like that again. So maybe this guy needs to take a hint, but his doctors would know better than I. Chicharito is going to return to LA next year. Now, what we did not know was that his contract had a clause that wasn't disclosed to the press, wasn't disclosed to anybody pretty much. Basically, the upshot was this: he would come back, the contract would be extended if he hit targets in both goals and minutes played. And it did cause a little bit of an uproar on Twitter, but to be frank with you, I'm cool with it. If Chicharito wants to come back, I'm all in favor, because he's not the problem with the Galaxy. It's wingers Douglas Costa and Kevin Cabral. The only designated player producing is Chicharito, in my opinion. Look, if Cabral is the biggest sinner in the group, frankly. If he puts the ball in the net, last year he put the ball in the net 5 times, right? He has 1 goal this year in MLS play. So he's regressed. No confidence. I even spend time wondering if the guy even wants to play professional soccer anymore. So no, bringing Chicharito back, I have no problem with it. Not in the slightest. There are stories that Anthony Davis is now anointed as the #1 offensive option for the Lakers. There's even another story that claims that LeBron James is on board. Do you buy that? Do you really? And if so, where does that rank you in terms of your own personal gullibility? Because there was this half second, it was yeah, Anthony, wait, LeBron's never signing off on that. No way. On a scale of 1 to 10, how gullible are any of us for believing that? #1 scale of gullibility is probably, well, I own a little too much cryptocurrency. Number 10 on the scale of gullibility, you probably trust the Chargers medical staff. That's how gullible you are. Does anybody really buy Anthony Davis being handed over the keys to the Lakers and LeBron James is willing to go along? I don't see it. Tony Gonsolin is scheduled to start Monday for the Dodgers. According to manager Dave Roberts, he was an all-star for the first time this year. He was just lights out, just mowing down everybody. And then he had a forearm issue, and he hasn't pitched for more than a month. So if he's giving them anything, that is going to be a big help for the Dodgers in their push to get the title. Also noted Spanish broadcaster Jaime Jarrín, who's been at the job for 64 years. He's going to sign off the air for good at the end of the Dodgers playoff run. Basically, obviously, the counterpart to Vin Scully for the Spanish-speaking community. It's one of the few links that goes all the way back to the early days of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Jarrín, for the most part, I would argue he's every bit as classy as Mr. Scully. Said Scully was, quote, the architect of his career. But his career spans beyond baseball. He also did a lot of news. For example, he covered JFK's funeral, chronicled Pope John Paul II's first visit to the United States. Credit where it's due. Credit to the LA Times for asking about an on-campus stadium at UCLA. Now, the upshot is this. They don't think the public is going to be on board, not just in terms of financing. I'm talking about the neighbors and even the students, which is surprising because we've been hearing all about how the students hate traveling to Pasadena. But there is history involved here. Back in 1965, they wanted to build a 44,000-seat stadium up in the hills near the campus, right? The students flipped out. They didn't want it. They thought it would be too disruptive, too noisy. The Daily Bruin editorialized against it and just brutalized the whole idea. And then, of course, so did the residents. So then you go with the students, the school paper, the residents. It got all the way up to the governor's office, and the governor went out against it. So the idea of the Bruins getting an on-campus stadium, don't hold your breath. The Supporters Shield in MLS could be wrapped up this weekend. LAFC could get it. Here's how. They have the tiebreaker with the Philadelphia Union. They're both tied in points atop the Western and Eastern Conference. They each have the same number of points. But LAFC owns the tiebreaker with 2 games left. So if the Philadelphia Union loses to Charlotte and LAFC wins, they get the hardware. I want to give you some numbers about the Trojans football team, or at least one number which I just really pops out. Because we've been talking all this time about Caleb Williams, about Jordan Addison, and all the points they're putting up. Running backs Travis Dye and Austin Jones are each averaging more than 7 yards a carry. So we can talk all we want about the passing and the dynamics of the passing attack, but underneath all the flash, there's some good old-fashioned hardcore running going on in there. There's a lot to like about that. I'm a big fan of running the football. The Clippers finally, they're going to open up their preseason tonight. Yeah, it's going to look like G League. Kawhi Leonard isn't going to play. Paul George isn't going to play. John Wall is out. So there's no reason to watch. Not that preseason NBA basketball has ever been watchable in the first place, mind you. But yeah, the only reason I bring this up though, when is Kawhi Leonard going to play? When? They say everything's hunky-dory, but until I see that guy in a uniform, how gullible are we? Leave me your thoughts in the comments thread. There's a lot of interesting stories going on today. And if you like the content that we put out, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We do talk LA sports here. Thanks for watching. I'm James. We're going to be back today with a preview of USC's football game on Saturday. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.